Number one, get it right from the start. It's all too easy when you spot some conduct that you don't think is quite right, or maybe an accounting irregularity or something like that, where you think, oh, I need to look at this a bit further, to go dashing straight into some other process. And that's where you should be stopping and thinking, investigation, investigation. It's really important that you put a robust process in place for what you're going to be investigating, how you do it, and what the outcome will be, because it's got to be the most useful outcome for your organisation. For example, I've previously worked on an investigation where we were looking at intragroup transfers to follow a flow of funds to a really complicated multi-jurisdictional group. And the accounting team had already started looking at that and it had reached some conclusions which we just couldn't follow. And when we went back to the source material, in fact, it was right off at a tangent and had reached completely unsustainable and wrong conclusions. And we then had to undo all of that before we could go on with the investigation properly. And it added a whole nother level of complication and distraction to what we were really trying to achieve. It's really important to try and avoid doing that because it'll just cost you extra time and money.
The second point is a do and a don't, so double value for money on this one. The do is do preserve evidence, the don't is obviously don't allow evidence to be destroyed. That's particularly important in a digital age, especially if you have, if it's a multi-jurisdictional company, so if you've got evidence in other, in other parts of the world. So you need to be clear with anyone that you're going to speak to or anyone who's a custodian of evidence that they are told that they shouldn't destroy it, they should preserve it. I know it's difficult to totally delete digital evidence, but it's not impossible, so you need to put that out there. And you may also need to image evidence yourself. I mean, obviously we're not really in a scenario these days where people are likely to be in the basement shredding papers, but having said that, different countries preserve evidence in different ways. And not so long ago we had to go cap in hand to a regulator ourselves to say, oh well, we're really sorry, but our foreign client who's asking for leniency and asking for you to treat them nicely has also destroyed quite a lot of evidence, quite a lot of important evidence. So we're very sorry about that, and we hope that it won't affect the way you treat our company long term, which luckily in that case it didn't.
Number three, get external lawyers. Having an external lawyer might fall somewhere between quite helpful and absolutely essential, depending on the nature of your business, the issues that you're investigating, and what the remedial action will be. But it's never going to be unhelpful. Your lawyer will be really important right from the beginning. How do you plan the investigation process to make sure that it's robust and defensible? What is the scope of the investigation? Who is doing it? How are you gathering your documentary evidence? Are you dealing with sensitive personal data? Do you have data protection issues? What are you doing about metadata? What is it that you're gathering? How are you dealing with witnesses? Your lawyers can help you plan all of that so that what you get to is a fair and defensible process. You'll also need input on what's actually happened. What is the problem that you're investigating and what are the implications of that for the company? What does your report look like and what remedial action will there be? Your lawyers are central to how you substantively engage with what's happened. And then there's the privilege point, which you'll hear over and over again. Is it privileged? Should it be privileged? How are we protecting that?